Grant Dania now.
It's Grant Dania.
The gold logie this year. Oh my God, it's Grant Dania.
And our mom, Chezzi George. She's really crazy.
It's all true.
It's All True, the podcast with Grant and Chezzi Denya.
Heck yes, it is.
Yeah. And
Crank this bitch up, friends, because we're about to go wild.
I said go loose, not like go.
Insane.
Yep.
I like insane. Insane's good. Bit of insane.
Yeah.
Think of all the
What
great...
this podcast is all about. Like on your car speakers, mine goes to about 55. Is that a bit like high for a
That's a lot
car
of numbers.
speaker volume?
That's a lot of numbers. Like,
55.
why does the range need to be that big where you'd be like, oh, God, I don't know, do I want 48 or 47? Like, what's wrong with 1 to 10?
I'm not too sure. And are you one of those people who are like, it's got to be either a 50 or a 55? It can't be any of the numbers in between, because I've had a few people in my life who are very, very picky with what number you end up being. It's got to be a whole number.
That's
Really?
interesting, because that kept coming up on Family Feud a lot. Like people, we must have had like fill in this form before you come on the show and tell us what's weird about you or something like that, just so you could kick around things that might end up being fun topics to talk about or ridicule them about. And a lot of people would say that. They'd say, I have this thing when I turn the television on with the remote in the lounge room, it's got to be on either an even number or a rounded number, like a 10 or a 5.
It's like superstitious in a way.
I think an OCD or something.
Oh,
It's
it
weird.
sounds a bit OCD. My dad used to always say when he'd come in from work, he'd be like, is that TV on 16? We'd be like, oh, I don't know. And then he'd like make us like turn it down if it was above 16. I just always remember it was
So
16.
that was his magical number. It's like Dad's with the thermostats.
Yeah. Why? What do they do?
Well, oh God, how many arguments do we have over the bloody thermostat?
Yeah, I know. Well, it's just continued, I guess, because it used to be an argument in my house with my parents as well. They used to go, who turned the heater up to 33? And I'd be like, that's obviously a bad number.
George, what shits me to tears? Let's be honest here. Let's air our dirty laundry. Every night. Every single night before we
That's
go
a
to
lot of
bed.
nights.
Every night. Chezzi's like, oh, what should I set the temperature on?
No,
I go,
I
"Mate,
don't
We've
say it
lived
like that.
here for 8 fucking years.
I don't
And
say
you
it like
still
that.
every night debate with yourself what to do.
No, Grant's going through like male menopause, right? So at night he gets really hot and he gets like really steamy. And so he says to me, what's the temperature set on? And I go, I don't know what I set it on every night. Well, is it 20 or is it 21? I'm like, oh, I don't know. I don't know. Or I come in.
So
and I
you
say-
two need to find the number that's just perfect for both of you,
Yeah.
because you're two individuals
It's 20.
That's right.
who
It's 20.
prefer different. Yeah, 20 or two potentially.
I find 22 a little too hot. I'll go to 21.
See? Everybody else in the house is like wearing hoodies and I've got socks on and Grant's like, oh, it's so hot.
Well, let's try and get the average of listeners who prefer Grant's temperature. We'll get them to sleep with him one by one every night, just in
Yes.
the bed, and we'll
Yes.
figure out what the best temp is,
That's
and when
a
everyone
good
can agree on
idea.
something.
Maybe you're like a thermos. It's just radiating excessive amounts of heat. Why is it me? I'm fine when I'm just in a hotel room.
That is such a lie.
But mind you, I put it down to 18 when I'm in a hotel room.
Yeah, see? We now have no heater on in the room. I am frozen. Like I'm wearing ski socks and thermals to bed. Like that's not normal, is it? And
Well,
Grant's
you've
like,
always been a sort of living in the country, like Bathurst weather. You'd be used to the cold. Grant, where did you grow up?
All over. Central Coast, Gosford, Melbourne, Dandenong, Victoria.
So a bit warmer, maybe?
No,
Yeah,
you
I don't-
know what? It's scientifically proven, mate, that the colder the air, the better you sleep. I saw just the other day, it was this post of like Russian children. Okay, it was Russia. It's probably not a good litmus test for everyone's behavior. But in Russia, they used to put the kids in their little cots outside in the snow, right? They're hooded up, right? Because they sleep so deeply because
Because they don't care if they live or die.
Well, there is that. I didn't say all of Russia's
They
decisions
don't
are
care
great.
if they
But there was
get
a photo
hypothermia.
of 20 kids in their little cradles out in the snow, and they
What?
look like they're either they're so
dead.
deep asleep, and they
They're
might be
dead.
dead. In fact, on closer inspection, they might have actually been dead. But
What were you looking at?
look, sleep scientists all say the colder the air, the better the sleep. Think what happens, right, when you booze on, right, and you get in bed, your body's pumping out heat as all your organs are working hard to process the alcohol, right? It makes you hotter, and you sleep shitter. That is, everyone knows that. So, what does that tell us? Heat means bad sleep. So the cooler the air...
Yeah, I get that. But we're
Hmm.
still trying to determine why you get so hot and nobody else in the house or the hotels.
I don't know why that is.
How do you sleep, George? Because
Why is this
you're-
turned on me anyway? You were the one who every night who goes,
turning it back on
what should I
George.
do with the heater tonight? I don't know. The same thing as you did the last fucking 4,000 nights, maybe?
But the reason why
Have
I
you figured
say
it out
that
yet?
is because you complain all the time.
That's not true.
That's
You have no idea how to... Oh, you know,
You've just had a 5-minute rant.
what about air conditioning in the car?
What about? Yeah, okay.
Okay.
See, you've got the split system in the car though, so
Yeah.
you can kind of differentiate where you want different temps to be coming out of for the different person.
Well,
so
you would think that would kind of make our life smooth sailing, right? However,
for sure.
see, I'm a big fan of the auto button, right, in air cons, okay? So the auto's job is, when you get in the car, it gets it to the temperature you've set it at as fast as it possibly can, right? As fast as it can. However, this one here, sitting to my left, gets in the car and always, just say it's a hot day, she's like full max speed fan. And I'm
Yeah, I
going,
do.
the car's not cool enough yet. Like, you got to wait for the air conditioning to build up yet. It's not going to get cooler faster just because you've made the fan go. Put it on auto. It'll get it there as fast as it possibly can.
And see, like even now, I see his mouth is moving,
Hmm.
and I'm hearing words like auto and
she's
fast as you can,
tuned
and
out. She's tuned
yeah,
out.
because this happens a lot. Because I get in,
That's
I
what
go,
auto's for.
I'm like, whoa, it's real hot. I'll turn the aircon up. Yeah,
And then you're like,
man.
you're talking like this over the top of the fan. I can't hear.
And I'm like,
I'm going, it's just blowing hot air because the aircon hasn't like cranked up yet.
but I'm not the only person to do that because I've got in the car with 3 girlfriends,
Yeah.
and they all do the same thing.
I think it's
So-
a chick thing, and some dudes, I must admit, because I did get in the car with Adrian the other day, and he did it, and I
There you
I
go.
laughed.
So maybe you're the only. Oh, hold on a second.
Okay,
Hold
maybe
on.
it is just me.
George, when you get
Yes.
into the car and it's really hot,
Yeah.
what do?
Well, my car is like a 2015 model, so I don't think it's got the auto option.
It
So
would
I
have
do
the
blast
auto.
it.
That means you don't use it. Okay, it would have the auto. 2015.
That means you don't
Jesus,
use
it's
it.
just me.
I've never known anybody to be so anal.
You just leave it on
about-
one temp. Just say pick your temp. So in our car, it's say 22.5 to be specific. I don't know why.
Which, can I just say, is never right because even when we're driving along, you go, oh, it's real hot in this car. I don't think we've got it set properly.
Oh, because not on auto.
See, do you see what's happening here?
This is the
He
divorce
says-
I do.
playing out in
I
front
certainly
of you.
see it, but I need to be more open-minded to the auto option because I haven't given it a go yet. I haven't given
Mate,
it a
it'll
chance.
change your life. Forget turning it up full blast straight away where it really blows your eyebrows off. And then all of a sudden, in 5 minutes' time, it's too cold. Then you got to turn it all back down again. And like when you should be focusing on the road, hit auto, boom, once. It just leave it there, and it'll always do whatever you need it to do. If it's hot, it'll still take it to say 22. If you set it at 22, if it's cold, it'll still take it to 22. One button.
What about
Change
on a
your life.
40-degree day? Like if you want to get that instant cold boom of air hitting your face,
It'll
like
still do
up
that.
here in Rocky.
It'll
It
still
will?
do that. Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
But it won't do it until the aircon is cold enough, and then it cranks it up. So otherwise, it'll just blow hot air out at you. So it sits there as the air conditioning sort of starts firing up. It's getting colder. It's got a colder, and then it goes. You know what? It's cold enough now. Let's give it to him. And it goes, and it gives you cold stuff. No. Why am I so worked up about this?
I have no
We
idea.
need to do a podcast in a car. We need to do a road trip in a car, hook us up,
Oh my
and
God.
just record the whole lot.
We'll never make it.
That's.
We'll make it down the
I
driveway.
need to move on from this because I've now realised that I'm the only one that does it. If my mate Adrian doesn't do it, George doesn't do it, you don't do it.
We'll never
I'm the
ever
problem.
get over this.
I'm the problem.
No.
Excuse me, I'm just having a
Oh, Grant's is having a drink here. So, hold on, George. Do you have an aircon or a fan on when you sleep?
So at the moment, I don't like the temperature. The weather outside at night time is just perfect. Like it's fine to jump into your bed and just deal with the natural elements. But when it gets really, really hot, like those 40-degree days up here in Queensland, yeah, you throw the aircon on and yeah, you do turn to sleeping in the nude.
yeah.
Maybe you're sleeping in too many clothes, Grant.
That's a good point. I used to be a nudie sleeper, but I'm not anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, look, good thing I wasn't in the nude last night because my dad surprise visited me.
Really? Did he really?
That's
That's
lovely.
a hell of a surprise. That's
Yeah.
a long way
Guys.
to come.
It's about a 16-hour drive. I'm in the studio actually recording and working on our very big special song that's going to come up in the next episode.
Oh, this is good.
And I get this call from him saying, "Oh, I'm down in the bottom paddock, and I'll give you a buzz when I'm finished." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's really, really random." And then next minute, I hear this banging at my front door, and I'm like, "No, it couldn't possibly be." And it's my dad, and I look, I'm like, "Oh my God, hey Dad!" I'm down the other end of the hallway. "Oh, hey Dad, how you going?" Just 1 second. And I just go and do a quick little clean up of the house because there's a few things that are lying about that I don't want my dad to see or my brother.
Like
And then
what?
I-
Hang on.
Like
Let
what?
them in.
Like what?
Yeah, like what?
Oh, dirty dishes and other things that
what
I won't mention because he'll probably hear the podcast, but I let them
Well,
in.
hang on.
What,
Now-
you don't
now
think
you've got
it's
my attention?
Yeah, hold on. You don't think it's weird that they're just standing at the door waiting for you to do I'm just going to clean my
Sorry, I'm
dishes
just going to deflate my sex doll. Just give me a second.
and clean the
It would have
skitties
been
off the
very
toilet.
weird. Look, I had a house party a week beforehand.
Here we
and
go.
things were still a little bit messy from that party, and people had left a few things here and there. The fruit bowl wasn't holding fruit; it was holding other things. And
Like what?
Like what? Why do you say other things? What
yeah,
do you mean?
stop being so cagey.
look, my mates brought over condoms, and they put them into the fruit bowl.
What kind of a party did you have?
yeah.
It was just a normal pre-drinks party, and then we hit
Just
the
a
pub
normal-
afterwards.
Mate, there's nothing
Pre-drinks
normal
party.
about people coming over to your joint and just throwing a ton of
Condoms into
your
fruit
fruit bowl.
bowls. Well,
What's
They're a
normal
very
about
loose
that?
unit.
Well, we don't actually know because when we were 21, that is something.
That sounds like a swingers party.
no.
But
They're
can
all
I tell you,
men.
there was absolutely no swinging. They just brought them over for fun. One bloke just blew one up to excess size and just was like, "Huh, that's funny," and let go of it. And I'm
That
like,
does sound pretty funny.
That's great.
Yeah, that does. I remember once at a girlfriend's house party, because at 21, you're just moving out of home and you're like kind of, finding your feet and it's pretty cool. And I remember we bought condoms. We put conditioner in one of the condoms and then draped it over like her bedside table. Yeah.
"Oh, what?"
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
That's great.
And I just remember
actually very good.
we thought it was hilarious. Like my girlfriends and I, we were like squishing the conditioner to the end. And like now, if my kids
You watch
said
this
that,
straight
I'll
after
be-
this podcast. George will organise another party because he's now got a new trick.
I've
Like,
got a new idea, guys.
Guys, everyone come over on Thursday.
see, like that is something that you do when you're 21.
Yeah, you're right, actually. That does actually make sense.
But what about your little neighbours with their dim sims and stuff? Did you invite them?
No, so did I tell you that they're in like a baby creation process at the
Yeah.
moment too? Yeah, so
They're pregnant.
that's still happening. Yeah, there's a bit of baby creating, bit of magic happening next door to this studio.
No, hang on a second.
that's
But they could be just putting the love into making their dumplings.
Are you still
we don't
hearing
know.
stuff?
Yeah, we don't know. Give us a rendition of what it sounds like.
Yeah,
Oh,
what do you
what it
hear?
sounds like. Look, they're clapping their way
Yeah, that's
all
tossing
night
around.
long.
That's
Oh,
tossing
putting
around
the flour on
wong-
the dimple and the dimples
what-
on the, on the dumplings.
No, you're right, the dimples.
That's tossing around
you're
the
hearing like-
wonton pastry. That is.
I've worked it out. He goes for about 15 seconds and then he stops.
Oh,
Stop. Was that a bit much?
So there's more of a hoya.
Yeah, see, that's when they throw the wonton.
Explain that,
the-
Chezzi. What does the hoya mean?
Is it like a? Yeah, what? What inflection?
How can
is
that
it?
be making dumplings?
Yeah.
Hoi, hoi, yeah.
This is a really good batch.
Does it sound like hoi-ya or like hoi-ya?
This is weird.
It sounds a bit like that, actually. Yeah.
This is weird.
Okay. Well, to be honest, whenever I've made wontons, dumplings, I've never been like, hoi-ya.
I don't know. I love a dumpling.
They are quite good.
You're too hot. At night, you're like, get away from me with your wontons.
I'll take me wontons over here.
And I'm like,
But it was so funny because Dad was like sleeping next to the wall that they do their business in last night. And I just woke up this morning and said, Dad, mate, like just move over this way, move to the front of the house. It's away from all of that noise.
Is
You
it
don't have to
every
put
night?
up with it. It's a very regular thing. Like we're talking maybe 3 to 4 nights a week.
I'm looking at the wall behind you, right? That looks like it's solid Besser brick, right? Is that what they're called? Besser bricks?
breast of bricks.
Breast of bricks?
It's a very thick brick in this studio, and then my room is just outside of it, and it's like a gyprock between our buildings.
Okay, so it's not Besser. I'll give up on that word. So it's not those bricks between your apartments.
Yeah, it's your standard gyprock
Yeah, okay.
or a bit of timber in between.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Right.
You might have
How
to
old are they?
Sticky tape a
these
doona
neighbours?
on the wall to sort of help us a bit of like sound deadening.
Yeah, just some studio soundproofing. Maybe I take it down from in the studio and put it into my bedroom.
It's a good idea.
How old are these?
I'm
Sexed
going to say
up
that they're
neighbours.
in their like late 30s, early 40s.
She's they're really getting after it, aren't they? Good on them.
Yeah, they really
well,
must love making kids.
All right. Well, what we'll do is your task is to go away and record some of that tonight, so we can
No,
all make
we're
a
not.
judgment as to whether it's dumplings
No,
or they're doing it.
Did your dad think they were making wontons?
Well, fortunately, he didn't hear anything last night, but I did warn him that that's what I
Right, okay.
think is occurring
Okay.
next door.
Right.
All right. Get some audio.
Well, we probably need to hear from Glenn. No, we don't
It's
want
Australia's
audio.
favourite new segment: dumplings or doing it. Woo!
We don't want audio. We don't.
Yeah, we
That's
do.
wrong. No, that you're breaking so
You're right,
many
Chezzi.
laws.
We want visuals.
No, we don't want any visuals. We don't.
Yeah, drill a hole in the wall. Get some pics.
No, we don't. But sorry. Now I've forgotten. Is that what's making you hot at night? Sorry.
Yeah. No, not at all. Absolutely not. It's a big turn off.
Okay.
We got some pretty amazing feedback
Reviews.
this week. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bloody love it. Jeez, I love it. Oh, you got. Should we play the voice one first?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mate.
Jasmine
So we've-
from the sunny coast.
You remember that, did you?
Yeah.
Of
'cause
Queensland.
George sent it
Did you
to
look
me.
up her profile?
No.
I
You
did. I
did.
did a little bit of a
course you did.
stalk just to see what she looked like and who was actually reaching out to us. She's lovely and she's a big fan of the podcast, and she sent me a voice message via my Instagram, @_GSarge. You can do that anytime, folks.
Okay, so we put this out a little while ago, and she's obviously gone back through episodes and heard this because we just gave your details again, which are.
He just gave
@_GSarge.
That's right. So if you want to do the same, feel free to. But this is lovely. This is
Do you need to turn your phone
because
up?
you got to remember that like, we sit here in this room and we just chat together. I'm used to making television where there's an audience, so I see their feedback, I see their response. I don't get that in this, so you forget that you're doing it for an audience. So when you hear something like this, it really makes your day. Let's have a listen. This is from Jasmine.
This is for you, Sarge, and Grant and Chezzi. I just wanted to really share some love. I've got a 3-year-old and an 8-month-old. I'm 33 from sunny coast Queensland. And I'm just a boring old housewife. I work from home for our own business. And yeah, it's very challenging. It's a pretty depressing industry that we're in. And then just doing a lot of working from home, living from home, parenting from home, wifing from home, walking the dog from home. It's just very dull. But, you know, I wouldn't change it. It's the best. I'm very flexible and I can be there for my kids and whatnot, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, your podcast brings me a lot of joy, like so much joy. I'm not sort of one that froths over a podcast or something like that, or a YouTube channel, but when it comes to the It's All True podcast, it brings so much freaking joy to me. I've felt seen, I've felt heard, I've felt understood through your podcast. I have laughed so much through your podcast. I just adore Chezzi, I adore Grant, and I adore you and your mum, and just everything. I love all the stories. I love all the history between you all, and I love it all, and it really makes me happy. So I just want you to know that I've been through some really dark times with a few things that happened in my life, I guess much like everybody else. And your podcast has, reasonably saved me, because sometimes I've been in a really hard spot where I've been challenged and whatnot, and then I just see your podcast pop up and I'll listen to it, and I feel better. I go about my day. So it's, thank you. Just thank you. It might just be, a podcast to you and a job for you and whatnot, but just know that out here for the little old boring housewives, can be somewhat saving for us. So thank you. I really appreciate it, and I just want you to feel the appreciation and feel the love from me, who's a bloody nobody. Anyway, have a beautiful day. And keep doing what you're doing. I love it.
What a bloody legend is Jasmine. That's just...
I loved that.
Such a touching, beautiful thing to say.
Yeah, I love that.
Just completely from the heart as well. You could feel every single thing she was saying there.
That really blew me away, because we don't at times take this very seriously. I don't know if you've noticed.
We definitely don't.
Well, I do.
So one of us does.
I do. George does. I think.
Okay. Back to I'm clearly the problem.
No, you do, but you also, as you said before, you don't see the impact.
No, and I guess because we don't take it seriously always, that you forget. Oh, I didn't know that it had a serious effect on people. So that is beautiful to hear. That's actually, I might start trying from now on.
Season 5, episode 9. I might
start
give it a go.
You know what? Grant still, I don't know. People still come up to us and they're like, "Oh, I love your podcast," like wherever we go. And I'm like, "Oh, thank you." That really, and then they will say, "Oh, when you spoke about blah, blah, blah." And Grant still says to me, "I can't believe people bloody listen to that. It's just you and me and George just talking shit."
I can't believe they listen, but the fact they remember it.
Well, because it's good stuff, mate.
Well, says us. But...
Well, you wait. Anyone who sees Grant from now on that listens to the podcast, please come up and tell him your air conditioning woes.
Tell me, what's your key number? What are you trying to hit in the AC front?
Yeah.
If you really want to grind his gears.
Yeah. Tell him that you also pump up the aircon when you get into a hot car.
Oh, you're a no auto kind of person.
We need a vote to put out there.
We can't be friends if you're a no auto person.
But that's really nice, because I guess, we can... well, I know. I've listened to podcasts that have, you're going through something at that point, and you feel listened to, and you feel heard. And
isn't it funny how some podcasts can jump out at you for whatever reason right at the moment you need it? That does happen to me, and who's aligning all those bloody stars? That's pretty powerful. That's cool.
And the other thing too, a lot of people love to binge a podcast. So you've got some people who are listening to like 3 seasons in a row over however many days or weeks, and then they feel like they actually genuinely know you, and they probably do, because we talk so openly about everything and anything. And
True.
I guess that's probably potentially the success, the key to getting to people's hearts.
Well, a great example was, you with Gus Warland, the fact that you opened up about the struggles you had in your life, is you forget that can really empower those who are going through it in the moment, who are going through it right now. And I guess I never thought I ever had anything important to say. For whatever reason, I felt like that I'm not very smart and I don't have anything to add. and that's a life belief or a core belief that I've had since I was a kid, I reckon. So that's why I think I feel like, this is all a bit silly because no one really wants to hear from me because I have nothing to say.
Isn't that sad?
Yeah, it's a very grim way to live.
Isn't that sad? Because Grant doesn't like, because we often talk about, what are we going to do next? What about, why don't you get into radio? Get back into radio? Because I really love Grant on radio. I think he's good, but for whatever reason, your experience in radio, wasn't the highlight of your life. And
it was a bit tricky.
And you don't feel like when you just talk about yourself, you don't like talking about yourself.
No,
you think that you're really boring, and you think that
that no one wants to hear what I have to say about things. Yet I have a podcast.
We just forced you into it,
and it really was. I was really reluctant. It was a hard no from me from the start. Because I can't talk just endlessly about stuff. I don't know enough stuff, and I don't have anything interesting to say. So we really, when we kicked this thing off, it was just about. Well, remember, it was about trying to right some wrongs that were being said about us, in the media. So we thought if we have a platform, at least we have a right of reply. At least we have the chance to set the record straight. And we started sharing some stuff, I guess.
Well, we came out of the gate bloody hard.
We really did.
Yeah.
That would have scared the shit
I was
out
worried.
of you.
I'm like, do we have any more stories left after this?
Imagine, we were started with some fairly traumatic shit, right? You must have been going, oh my God, what have I got myself into?
What have I signed up for? Like, gee whiz,
where's
can
this
the
gonna go?
studio just all of a sudden disappear and, we can't do the podcast? No, it was such an eye-opener. It was bloody brilliant to kick it off and start working with yous. And back on you, Grant, like I've got so many mates who just love hearing about your personal stories and what happens behind the camera, what happens behind the scenes, and that you are a real person. You've got this polished kind of act and performance as an entertainer, as a media professional, but there's a real person underneath that. Even for me, I just go, it's okay to kind of stumble through and do your own thing, and don't have to be perfect on and off the screen.
Because I think that's probably, I'm tired of being perfect, to be honest. It's exhausting and it's not very interesting.
And it's also not natural, and it's not real.
No, and it's not good for you. It burns a hell of a lot of energy to try and do.
And also, I think since COVID, people are craving authenticity. So, do you remember when?
But we don't do it just to be authentic. You know what I mean? It's not.
But
it's not like we're trying to be authentic. We're just.
But we just are authentic people, though, as well.
Yeah.
And so, without you having any prep and coming in here and just like winging it, people actually do get to see the authentic side of you.
Some people might call that laziness, and I say, "Fuck you." I'm trying to be authentic.
It's professional laziness.
Yeah, it's professional laziness. No,
but I hope, because sometimes when you're in the media, you are expected to be a certain way, particularly by the people who employ you. So you end up trying to be that for them, so you are desirable in their eyes. The problem is that it ends up knocking the personality out of you a little bit. So I hope, the one thing that you've learned from doing all of this, because I'm sure there's not much, is that it's okay to be you, and it's okay to be flawed, and it's okay to make mistakes, and it's okay to kind of, you don't have to fake it till you make it so much. You can just be you.
But that is,
and that makes a heaps better broadcaster. I promise you.
One thing that I wish I probably learnt a lot earlier.
Yeah, same.
Because I remember I used to watch people, with their stand-ups and doing TV stuff, and then I would have this really polished, like even my voice was weird.
Yeah, I'm guilty of that too.
Oh, and because I got told so many times, like all through school, that my laugh was, was distracting and was awful, and so I didn't even know for years what my laugh was. Remember, I used to be like,
It was like you were trying to control it because obviously someone had said something to you at some point, and you were
the same with my crooked smile.
Yeah, I like your crooked smile. Our daughters now have the crooked smile. It's so cute. It's such an appealing feature. It's not a flaw.
But see, it's funny how when you're told things as a kid and then you
lock
kind
them
of
in your body.
Yeah.
You lock those memories in, and then they become a rule.
That's right. And so that I wish that I knew that it's okay to be yourself, but maybe that comes with wisdom
In time.
and time and age.
Yeah.
But that is, George, you, for example, you wear your heart on your sleeve. And that is one thing that both Grant and I, from the very first day that we met you, we absolutely adored about you. Because
I reckon it definitely came from my parents, though. Like, they passed that all down, and it's my comfortable way of living, I guess, just being a nice enough kind of guy.
Nice enough. That should
Nice
be
enough.
your Tinder
Half
profile
decent.
bio. Nice enough.
Nice enough. No, but that's in an industry that we work in, that a lot of people, if they do wear their heart on their sleeve, they certainly don't show it.
Because it can be a vicious game that we're
It's
in.
quite cutthroat.
Yeah, so you don't want to, you were afraid to be too vulnerable because you thought that someone might exploit that as a weakness. But I learned later in life it becomes your asset because you're a bloody good person and people can feel that through a screen or through a speaker.
That's what I'm saying. People now, especially since COVID, they're craving authenticity. That's
Yeah.
what you want. I know. I want
Connection,
it.
craving connection.
I look at people online or on social media and I can tell if they're really fake, and I just go, I actually don't want anything to do with you.
Yeah.
Because I
See, what's
want
nice
real
about-
people.
Exactly. What's nice about George when he sends through a dick pic now, it's not touched up. Like it hasn't been, there's no photoshopping. It's just real. And I appreciate that
yeah.
and I like that.
Well,
Thank
why do
you.
you still zoom in?
Look, you have to zoom in now. Prior, it wasn't so much that. But I'm comfortable with you guys to show the real PP.
Oh,
think we've
okay.
got some
Well,
more.
now we've gone for half an hour and we haven't even spoken about our reviews.
Producer George. Hang on. Is this from you?
No.
Oh, it's about you. Was that a headline? Producer George. I love Grant and Chezzi Daniel with all my heart. They're funny, authentic, relatable, and just drop dead beautiful people. Oh, bless you. That producer of yours, though, George, he sounds like he'd be delicious! Exclamation mark. Oh, wow.
Love Music
9
987. Would that be 1987?
Dunno.
How old would that person be then?
Love Music 987.
That sounds like he'd be delicious. So you're basing off my voice that I would be quite tasty.
Yep, and you are. It's a matter of fact.
Thank you for that endorsement. I appreciate it.
I've got a review here from Talitha J. Me Best Mates podcast. I honestly feel like I'm catching up with good friends each week when the podcast comes out. Real, down-to-earth people with real, down-to-earth stories, not afraid to show vulnerability. I listened back to the beginning earlier this year and cried when I heard the ADHD stories because I'd spent all my life feeling like a failure in certain areas. No idea there could be a legitimate reason. Months later, I now have a diagnosis and I'm learning more about it and cutting myself a little bit slack. And I wouldn't have been able to do it without my It's All True friends ×3.
Oh, is that what IAT means?
I don't know.
It's all true.
Oh, yeah.
IAT. That's the
Yeah.
abbreviation.
What do you think that
I
meant?
just realised that. I had no idea.
That's been in my email every week to you
Yeah, I know.
I
guys.
had no idea what the hell you were talking about all this whole time.
What did you think it was?
I just thought it was a file name. I just thought it was just generic randomized letters. I didn't realize it's the
Conveniently, IAT, it's all true.
that's much easier to write. That makes a lot of sense. I'm such an idiot. Oh,
Got
that's
a
funny.
review here as well, guys, from Skillick96. Ghost episode, 5 stars. Absolutely loved it. I too have had the peripheral vision thing all the time. Wow, about the kinesiology aspect. That was unbelievable, but truly believable. Keep doing this show, guys. Simply love it. And I am totally new to podcasts, and this is my first show ever, and I am hooked.
Well, it's pretty easy to be
Oh,
the
was
best then, isn't it? That's not really much of a recommendation. You guys
But
are
we
the only
do take
podcast
it.
I've ever heard, and you know what? You're number one in my eyes.
Well, we do hear that a lot. We've dragged
that's
people
true.
into. We should get something from like the head podcast.
Yeah, for
gods.
newbies. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, because we've got more newbies listening, like to the what is it? The medium? Is that what you call it?
Yeah, platform. Yeah, medium.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we should get, a podcast award for
Welcome.
what?
Yeah, just welcome to podcasting.
Yeah, we should.
Like a welcome pack.
No, I can't hear properly because
You
down.
have ADHD.
I was going to say no. Dun-dun-dun-dun. I can't reach the sound effects. But yeah, here we go. So, Grant, when he came back from the Simpson Desert,
I love
Sorry.
someone who
I was
has
at a
the
micro
best
sleep.
stories, just doesn't know how to tell them.
Grant came back from the Simpson Desert. I was about to call you George. How would you like that?
Yeah, well, I'm your husband, and
I
you
know.
should know my name by now.
I was looking at George intently. I just spat on the screen. Sorry, George. I just spat on your face.
No, you didn't get me because it's a Zoom call.
So Grant's come back from the Simpson Desert and has given me a
No.
really nice perfume. Shut up, you two. Has given me a really nice perfume.
I bought her a present, mate.
He bought me a present.
I bought her
From the desert.
Yeah, apparently
Beautiful.
somebody in the desert smelt like I used to smell. That sounds really weird.
That's so romantic.
When we went past a camel, I was like, oh, I know that smell.
Stop
It
it.
reminds me of dating.
Oh,
No, it's not. It's not. I was on
camels
a plane.
smell like?
It was from not from
Oh,
the
that's
desert.
right. It
I
was
was
the
on a
week
plane.
before the desert. But anyway, so Grant ordered me this beautiful perfume, which was really lovely.
It took me back to our literally the first time we dated. It was like a smell. It was like, oh my, sometimes smells can just instantly just zap you in time
Yeah.
back to whenever that last time you smelt that smell. And it
So
was
I used to wear a perfume for a number of years, the same perfume that is now no longer available, that smelt like coconut and
joy
joy.
and sunshine.
It just smelt, I don't know, like it's hard to describe, but it was an Australian perfume and I wore it for years.
It's very distinctive.
It was. And everybody at Channel 7 used to say they could smell me before they could see me
Yeah,
coming
that's
in.
true. I think you used to bathe in it.
I used to love it.
But it was a beautiful smell, and everyone, I could tell when you had been in a room. Like, for
Yeah,
instance.
and people used to say that. So Grant has smelt this smell on a plane and has asked the person, where did you get that perfume from?
Like an
and
absolute creep.
yeah,
Yeah.
like,
You started sniffing them.
G'day, love.
and then has
Where'd you get
ordered
that?
me this perfume, that this other woman was wearing.
Not a brand name. I think it was like a company in Australia, very small, very boutique.
Well,
I
we
think
don't
they-
need to say it.
I think they make their own.
And so I've been wearing it I was wearing it for a week, putting it behind my ears, putting it on my wrist, thinking, oh, this is great. It's amazing. I smell attractive
Back to the good
my
old
husband.
days.
Yeah.
It's like 20 years. It just was like we'd
It
gone back
smelled
20 years.
similar. It wasn't identical, but it did
No.
smell similar. Then probably 3 days in, my entire ear has gone super swollen and very red and blistered.
She's pretty
Oh,
much
no.
got third-degree burns, George.
So
Holy shit.
all up my ear, I've had a really serious allergic reaction and it has blistered my whole ear.
She looks like a burns victim.
I can probably show you a photo. It's so bad. I thought I had shingles and it was really itchy. And so I tried not to scratch it. But anyway, it blistered up really badly. It looked terrible. This is weeks ago. So
That just went from really cutesy, romantic,
I don't know if
lovely to
That's not-
boom.
that's not a bad one.
Try. Yeah, it's not a great
That's
photo.
like when it was healing. I don't know if you
Probably
can
worse
see it.
now.
Oh,
No, so I had to go to the doctor the other day because it was aggravating. It was just so
I'd
bad.
nearly killed her, basically. I'd given her like sepsis. She
No,
was
it's her-
poisoned to death.
It had a staph infection in my ear that was going on its way into my brain. Like,
Yeah, it's like blood poisoning nearly.
yeah.
man.
So it actually, if you had to look at it, it looked like I had cold sores, like that had blistered all up my ear, like revolting.
Does too. It's
pretty
it
bad.
looks a little bit. Looks a bit pussy as well.
Yeah.
Does that?
It's
Was
very
pussy.
weepy,
How
very weepy.
embarrassing. How disgusting. So this is
Show us
like,
what does it look like now under your headphones?
I don't think it's as bad now.
All the scabs have all sort of. Oh, God, it's still not good.
Oh, isn't it? Oh.
It's all right. Well, hang on.
Yeah, I can. It's starting to scab up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been on
Gee whiz.
antibiotics. So basically, Grant tried to kill me.
If you're watching on YouTube, it doesn't. These pictures don't do it justice.
Yeah, it was
in the
really
flesh.
bad.
It's very wild. And
It was very funky
inflamed.
and revolting and, and gross. And
You're lucky that you only sprayed it like on your ears and your arms and not anywhere else. Maybe more sensitive.
what are you laughing at?
It's pretty funny.
Thank
Yeah.
you. No,
Imagine
my,
Because some people do.
my
you had a
ear was pretty
burnt vagina.
sensitive. Was that, who?
People who put perfume down there?
What?
I know of blokes who put their dupe down there.
Do they? I've never thought of that. I thought.
Down their pants. Hold on,
Yeah,
hold on.
in that general area.
What's vabbing? What's vabbing? I saw
I think you mean vaping.
no vabbing. I saw
vabbing?
I don't know. I saw something the other day. They were like people were talking about the new thing, which is vabbing, which is
I'll look it up for you.
Yeah, well, tell us do you have an inkling as to what it is?
no, I don't know, but it's something about putting smells down your pants. I think so.
Like vagina dabbing? Vabbing?
What's
Da-
vagina
you know
dabbing?
you dab with eau de toilette.
Yeah,
kind
so
of.
maybe that's what it is. Vabbing.
Have I
is-
got
You're
it?
spot on.
Yay!
Vagina and dabbing refers to dabbing your vagina secretions on your body as
Oh,
if
what? Oh, that's not got anything to
That's
do with
the other way around. That's taking in the scent from that's there and putting it in other places of your body.
Oh, that
as
is
if they are
disgusting.
droplets of perfume.
Wow.
That is.
I guess it's
It's
full
thought
of
to make you
pheromones.
more attractive to others.
Yeah, see, the sex smell. People,
No.
well, you got to remember, we're born to
No.
procreate. We are designed
Do you
to
know
be
what?
easily turned on. So
I
I guess
have been into a public toilet before after some very smelly people have walked out, and I do not want to be smelling that all over their neck when I'm doing my shopping. Thanks. I'm talking, I don't like tuna, and I don't like the smell of like dirty fish. And I
don't
what
smell like that. They don't.
I have even even the other day I took the kids into a bathroom and then they were like, "Oh, that's."
It was like the Sydney fish markets, was
Well,
it?
it probably just done a bloody big turd.
wasn't a poo smell. So
okay, righto.
you're telling me people walking around with that around their neck,
I'm not weighing into this. This feels like
But-
dangerous.
it feels dangerous. Why?
Yeah.
Some people have smelly vaginas.
Well, maybe they
I'm
have
whispering
amazing
as
smelling
a-
ones as well. I don't know. But look, what I think the
I don't
message
wanna
is,
smell
it's
like-
a pheromone for starters, and human bodies respond to
Hold
pheromones.
on. How many people are doing this?
What's
George?
the male pheromone? Hormone? No.
The male pheromone.
Isn't pheromone just female? No. Is
No, pheromone is
that's the
like
scent
what
for both of
comes
us.
out of your pores and stuff. So for you, it'd be scotch. and for George, it'd be wontons.
That's it.
Yeah, no, pheromones is what comes out. Hold on,
Yeah, so they do it to obviously drive people crazy because
I just want to know, George, in your very limited research that you just did there on vabbing, is it
Yeah.
quite popular?
Well, you're right. It's a TikTok trend at the moment. So I
bloody TikTok.
dare say it's starting to get popular because of the talk. Things blow up on that thing and people just start doing whatever they see. So it's getting out there.
That's not right. That's just made me like I have got an infection
I don't really care if someone's doing that. I don't have an issue.
Imagine if they have like an overgrowth of yeast
Hey,
or something.
stop,
I'm
stop,
sorry, but I'm
stop,
talking about I've got an infection on my ear from legit perfume.
Yeah.
And like just keep your
It's just
keep your bits in check.
Remember, we're just simple hunter and gatherers, mate. So if someone wants to sort of
No,
put
but
it out
you
there,
you two are picturing like really sexy,
Yes, I
young,
am.
like clean
Guilty.
smelling, like and then like I'm picturing the majority
sort
of
of
the
200 kilo kind of.
No,
Is that
it
what you're
doesn't
saying?
have to. No,
Grandma.
No.
What are you- this is weird. This conversation.
Untidy, I think Chezzi's trying to say, right?
No, I'm picturing
well
like
kept.
my own, smell after, a day.
Oh my
or
god.
what. Sorry.
Oh my god.
I'm not.
Hey, guys, quick question.
Jesus Christ.
And let's-
Quick, save us, George. Please
Let's
be a
just
hard
take-
left turn in topic.
No, guys, let's take a deep breath. Ready? In, out. Count for 3 beats. 3,
What's that
2,
smell?
1.
Oh,
Where? Oh, come on, I was nearly there. Where? Now I can't do it because it's a really
Sorry.
sensitive topic. Okay, no, ready? We're good. Okay, great. 3, 2, 1. Yeah. Where were you guys when the Queen passed away?
Hey, great job, mate. Great job. Hang on. Thank you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you.
You cannot clap when we're just talking about the Queen passing away.
Oh, actually, good job. You're right. Maybe clap was the wrong sound.
Yeah.
effect. I was applauding the fact that he got us out of there.
Okay,
We needed to get out of that situation,
We
and here we
did,
are.
we did.
But respectfully, what a sad
was I?
time.
Oh,
Do you know what?
I just
Grant
woken up.
walked out. It was the other day, and Grant walked out in the morning. I was trying to upload our episode from last week, and Grant came out and he goes, "The Queen just passed away."
Yeah, I was really.
He was really upset.
Even though she was 1,040, I was really shocked.
She just, I thought she was going to live forever.
Yeah, so
you know,
it's
she was
time.
one of those public heads that I've just, always known. So I felt like the world was ending that day. I don't know if everybody else did, but I thought, far out, 2022.
I didn't think it had sunk in on you. I didn't think you'd had that reaction. You look.
I was in the
Pretty
middle of trying to
ambivalent.
upload our podcast promo, and I was like trying to do all like the kids' lunches and everything. And then it was only after I sat down for a little bit and I thought, this is really big.
My first thought was, what am I going to do with my money now? What's going to happen with like our coins and our? That was my first thought. I don't know why my brain went there.
Why? Because her head's on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what's going to happen to Queensland? Will it be Kingsland?
Oh, good. Yeah, you're right.
I did not
You're
even think
so
of that.
right.
That's
Kingsland sounds pretty amazing.
what about when you used to sing "God Save the Queen" like at school and stuff? And
You just change it for king, I guess, and it's still one syllable, so it still works.
there's a lot that is feeling a bit uncertain. I don't know. That's how I felt. I just thought, far out. We've lost Olivia Newton-John. We've lost Shane Warne this year. We've lost the Queen. It's just we seem to
Feels
be
like
losing some
2006
really.
all over again. When everyone was just kept
that's
dying.
right.
Remember, bloody
Yes.
Steve Irwin, Peter Brock.
Yes.
Someone
All
else
in a
big,
row.
Someone else big globally died that year.
Yeah. Look,
I felt like my grandma had died all over again.
same.
It was like I was mourning my grandma. Because I know that she looked up to the Queen so much. Like, the Queen was, the royal family was everything to my grandparents. Absolutely everything. Influenced the way they acted, the way they dressed. They're standing in the community. They were such inspirational figures to them. Like, my grandma, gosh, she looked like the Queen. Her hair was the same as the Queen.
Wow.
The clothes she would wear, do you know
what?
Even when someone would come over for morning tea, it was like they were coming over to Windsor Castle. Like she would just
Take that much pride in
proper
everything.
crockery and the presentation, and it was so formal, and it felt like an occasion when someone would just come over for morning tea. Like so much effort was put in, and it was just. Yeah.
Did they ever go and see the Queen? Like when she came out to Australia, did they go and line up
I
and?
don't know.
Because I'm sure that my grandparents did. Yeah, the Queen. I want to say, and this could be really wrong, but I want to say that they had a picture of the Queen in a frame, and I know that they got a letter from the Queen because they'd been married for such a long time, and it was
I didn't know that was a thing.
Didn't you?
No, I just thought you got one for your 100th birthday.
Yeah, no, for your
Oh, that's cute.
50th wedding anniversary, maybe. And I know that was a huge thing for them. Like that was,
mate.
they'd got a personalised letter from the Queen. Like
Wow.
that's really important.
I'm pretty sure my nan had some crockery that was so special. It never came out. And it was like she was waiting for the Queen to visit. And that was the only time that crockery was ever going to see the light of day.
Yeah, and my grandparents had that too. Oh, well, sorry. Yeah, my dad's parents were were quite poor. So he grew up in like an ex-housing commission house, and they used to have a little corner store, but they used to lose all their money because my grandfather used to go and give all the war widows like free food and and
so
would
nice.
deliver and
God, he'd sacrifice his own ability to live, for the sake of others.
Yeah, but they loved the Queen, and I remember that they won a car, which they'd never won anything, but they used to buy like a little pack of 3 Mars bars for the week, and then they'd chop it up, and have like little bits of Mars bar, and they didn't really have enough money to pay like to run a heater all the time, and so on the sunny days they'd sit out the front in this little Corolla that they won through a Mars bar competition, and the car was immaculate, and and they used to have their little,
So they'd sit because the house was too cold.
They'd
winter
sit
time.
in the
So
sun
providing
in the car.
it was a sunny, cold day, they'd sit in the car.
That's right, and read the paper. And so
Wow.
I'd sit there and they'd give me like, and thinking back now, I'd ask for another little square of Mars bar, and think they'd be like, well, here you go. Oh, I know. It was such a different era. So then, like, the Queen has reigned through our grandparents' era, our parents' era, our era.
Our great-grandparents' era.
Like, can you imagine being the Queen through? I just know what my parents are like when, I say, oh, do you know how to upload this to Facebook? And, and they have no idea. Can you imagine being the Queen?
Of a modern world now.
With
at
all the
98.
changes, yeah.
Was she 98? Yeah.
Do you know, like, okay, so we're going to upload this to Twitter. To Twitter? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you got to remember, like, prior, because social media is only a new invention and television is really not that old either. She was the most famous person in the world because we weren't following hundreds of people on our Instagram page then. So our experience of anything outside our neighborhood was so limited, right? So you didn't know that there were people over there that had similar interests to you in another country. Now you do, because the algorithm can feed it to you, right? So she was, being a head of state, she was the most famous person in the world because
A huge influence.
every school had a picture of her. Every classroom we sing, the national anthem. We to her. It's like
What year did the national anthem change in Australia?
from God Save the Queen to
The Australian anthem.
I assume it's
God,
probably
I'll
the
have to
same
look it up.
time that we went when our money changed. We went to what's our form of currency now? I can't remember the word.
I'm just trying to Google here. I've got about 5,000 tabs open on my phone.
When
so-
we went to the decimal, I can't remember what our form of
Yeah,
currency
not
is
too
now.
sure. But it was a bit of an interesting one because I saw the report the day before we found out that she'd passed away, and it was something like all of her close family were going to the castle or the residency in Scotland, and they were all going to be by her side, and that sort of went to me, oh my gosh, this could be the end. And then you woke up the next morning and it happened, and it was like, well, I half expected it, but at the same time,
Still
holy
shocked.
smokes, it's happened.
Yeah. I hope when everyone's, obviously the
Casket, yeah.
has been doing the rounds. The coffin's been doing the rounds, and everyone can sort of see it and pay their respects. And, and the queue is like 5 kilometres long outside where the cask is.
Casket.
Casket.
God, you ever really got a cask on
It's like
your
a
mind,
basket, but with a K.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I just
It's a
hope.
wine cask.
You're welcome.
Or
I just want Meghan Markle to just lean over the top to say her final goodbyes, and the Queen just has this last like little reflex, and she just gives her the bird. How amazing would that be?
But,
That's just like a little twitch.
we don't know that they don't get on because she was
Mate,
named
they don't get on.
Lilibet after the Queen.
Yeah, it was a cute story, and that was probably to try and get back in the Queen's good books.
Well, we don't know. And one thing that I know about, speculation about people's images is that people speculate about our,
Yeah, look,
images
Everyone
a lot.
else is speculating. I'm not speculating. This is what everyone else is saying. But yeah.
Megan is rivaling us in the podcast world at the moment. She's got a top-rating podcast, and
Does she?
setting truth bombs out there. So
Really?
yeah,
Maybe we should
just
get her
look out.
on. Maybe we should get her on this podcast.
Yeah,
I'll shoot her an email after this.
Okay, yeah. And ask her if she can come on and tell us the truth about her relationship with the Queen.
I reckon the Queen's probably. I reckon in the later life she's pretty relaxed.
No,
to be honest, I don't reckon she's that
seen
fussed.
some crap throughout her years.
She actually used to have a lot to drink as well through the day. Like she was very well at pacing out her drinks. I can't remember what it was, but I heard an interview with a maid of hers that was saying that she would drink, quite consistently across the day.
Just can on.
If it's
like a mongrel.
Scotch, I'm going to look it up.
Well, she does.
What did the Queen drink?
She would have been Scotch because she loves Scottish Highland cows. They have Balmoral, which is in Scotland. A huge Scottish connection. So,
Well, you know
All
what?
makes sense.
or what do old people drink? Sherry.
The Queen had afternoon tea every day. Oh, that's not right. She had after. The Queen has 4 cocktails a day, but not at the time. 4 cocktails? Oh, here we go. Hold on. Well, the Queen has 4 cocktails a day, but not at the times you might expect. Oh, look, she looks pretty happy in that picture. She's got a
juiced
champagne.
to the
and-
eyeballs
Oh,
there. Have a look at her. Loves the champers.
Hook
you know
in,
what?
Queenie.
Well,
How many cones does she do a day?
oh, stop it. Do you know
A
what?
couple of bongs out the back.
This is an Orchie bottle with a bit of hose pipe in it.
The monarch of more than 6
Trip to
decades,
Bunnings.
this is from 2017, does in fact have peculiar and specific dietary preferences. She has a slice of her favourite cake every day. Oh, that's boring. And she has 4 cocktails a day. Before lunch, she has a gin and Dubonnet.
Oh, gin. Oh, yeah, that's
Dubonnet,
yeah, that makes sense.
with a slice of lemon and a lot of ice.
Mm-hmm.
A classy and posh and powerful concoction. Then during lunch, she'll have a piece of chocolate and a glass of wine at meal's end. God, that sounds
See
like...
what I mean? That's a bit of alcohol there.
She's getting it on, isn't she?
consistently every day.
And she's only a tiny thing too.
And then at lunch, she also drinks a dry gin martini. So now we're 3 drinks in. This is every day.
For lunch.
No, that's at lunch.
Aye,
and
yeah.
then she has a glass of champagne before bed.
Yeah, right. Good
Well,
on her.
you know what? She lived for a very long time, so
That's
it's
true.
clearly...
She's 98. But mind you,
It must work.
I've thought this for a long time. If anyone knows whether there is like a fountain of youth or some sort of magic potion or special pill or special kind of radical medicine that we are not aware of to live longer, it'd be her. Do you know what I mean? Maybe there's this Amazon plant that's never really been discovered, but someone knows.
Or
and
maybe it's
the
just-
Queen's going to have that.
Maybe it's just not having to deal with all the little, like doing your washing. Maybe doing washing kills people.
She's got to run like 80 countries.
But I'm talking about doing like
I'd take the washing.
the mundane things like, cooking and cleaning up.
Yeah, she's got servants for that.
That's what I mean.
I reckon, yeah. To be honest, I look at the royals and go, that'd be a boring life. Yeah, you don't have to do anything, but therein lies the problem. How do you stay motivated?
But they love what they do.
Just what do you do? Just go and play with your diamonds.
No, they
And
they
your
have
corgis.
they have to go and do
Actually,
speeches and they have to help.
I guess they do a lot of charity work.
They do, and they would be extremely busy all the time. They just don't have to do all the little crappy things that we have to do. So maybe
Like
that's
the food
Remember,
shopping.
the cool thing about her,
Like
my
the
favourite
food
thing about her,
shopping.
she drove right up till she was about 95.
Do you know what? That again reminds me of my grandmother who looked exactly like the Queen.
While they were driving.
Yeah.
This tiny little head.
Yeah, and she had grey hair like that and would wear
Barely
a handbag on her
with
on her
gloves.
arm. And she was driving way past when she should have. And I remember one time driving in the car with her and we're at a shopping centre and somebody's like put their indicator on and she's just pulled straight into the parking spot. And then they've like
Deliberately.
really got the poops and they're banging on the window and she's saying to me, "Don't move." And I'm in the passenger seat.
play the old
and there's
lady
this,
card.
Like, there's these really angry people like, "Hey, you stole my parking spot." Yeah, and she's like this. Yeah.
It's like angry. It's like old people that like the checkout. Why are they the angriest? They have more time than anyone else. Yet
They're in a rush.
They're the ones in the hurry and they're the most impatient.
How about your grandparents, George?
Yeah, I think they're absolute classics. So my pop in particular, we have a lot of when I'm home Saturday night sort of parties in a way, and we, sit down at the dinner table, have a big roast and a fair few drinks, and my pop hasn't been officially diagnosed with like amnesia or anything like that yet. He's pretty able-bodied, but when he has a few red wines, he tends to forget a lot.
So do I.
He starts every time he has, maybe he's into a couple of red wines and, the same song, George Harrison, My Sweet Lord, will always come onto the TV. He'll crank it all the way up to 11 and we all just nod along and go, yeah, we haven't heard this song before. This is fantastic. Absolutely love it. So my uncle and I, every time we catch up, we place bets. Yeah, I reckon 7:42. He will turn that TV on and put George Harrison on. So they're just the most joyous and lovely people. I just enjoy having a yarn and the catch up with them. They kind of ground you a bit, grandparents.
Cool,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah, and that's what. Can you imagine if your grandmother was the queen? I think that would be. You could see that they were trying really hard to hold it together. Harry and William, during the funeral, and it would be difficult trying to grieve while you're in such a public space.
Not only just important to you, but such a major figure in the in the world's eyes. So that's a lot, isn't it? It's a lot. Who do you wish was king?
What do you mean?
Well, if not Prince, what's his name?
Charles.
Or now
King Charles.
Yeah. Would you?
William, I think he's been like, I don't know. I kind of always thought that my kids would probably grow up with William as their king.
Same. For some reason, I was getting vibes that he was not that into the title. He was pretty happy not to be king.
I think they're all probably pretty happy because, correct me if I'm wrong, somebody got a recording of Charles or something saying, oh no, this is like not what I wanted, this is what I feared or something like that.
I think he was just enjoying just hanging out with Camille's and just doing their thing.
It's a lot of pressure. I mean, even the Queen didn't want it when it happened for her, according to the Crown.
She was only, how old? 20?
She was like a baby.
23
and,
or 26?
Thrown straight into this chaos and, what a remarkable woman to
and then
step
lead
up
everyone
and
through the World War. And she was a mechanic. That's right. She was a mechanic in the war. That is so cool. Fixing cars. What a boss.
She loved horses and horse riding and betting on them, and she had her own horses too, racing.
Did you see how
she
I
had
saw
her
a
own
video
passions.
the other day of how excited she was when her horse won? Like she was running around like in this corporate suite at a race event. She's going, "That's my horse! Look, that's my horse, and it won!" And she was showing everyone. And she's like, "How much did I win?" And the guy goes, "Oh, well, £15, Your Majesty." She's like, "Oh wow!"
Oh, see, like
So excited.
sweet.
And there's
that
this.
just says to me, like, imagine being able to do something so normal and then getting such a kick out of it.
Yes,
because
being excited about winning £15 was just like, I was like, if this woman's worth, I don't know how many billion.
Mind you, how much is £15? But in Australian dollars, I'd probably
know,
be
double
excited too.
And then there's another video of her sitting at in this arena, which I think was maybe, I'm not sure what it was. They're sitting in the arena and some cows come in to the arena and her face, she goes from looking like she's as bored as hell.
I saw that,
and she goes, and her eyes light up. She goes, "Look, cows."
Yeah, I saw that, yeah.
And I was like, and then
All these celebs are coming past, and then the cows.
and it was in that moment I could see the little girl still in her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The little girl that was just given the crown because her dad passed away. And I thought, wow, isn't it funny how no matter how old you are, there's still an inner child inside all of us, even though she ran the world and the world was on her shoulders. And for what it's worth, obviously, there's a fair bit to be said about colonialism and all of that, yada yada. But it was to see the little glimmer of girl still in her eyes when those cows came out was so cute. Yeah.
Do you guys want to place any bets as to what the parody song will be next week to wrap up this beautiful season 5?
Oh,
God, I don't even know. I don't even know song lyrics, let alone song titles.
Titles. Okay.
Are you asking us what's it going to be about?
Yeah,
Or
no,
what
what's
song are you doing
No,
it to?
I don't think you'll really know what it's about because last topic, as we know, was themed around horses and penises. So where do you go from there? It's going to be pretty random. But look, I'll
Vabbing?
say this. I will say this. Yeah, need to add that lyric in. No, I'll say this. It is a song that plays at a vast majority of high school or uni graduations.
Oh, I know it. I got it straight away.
What?
Green Day,
Green Day?
Time of Your Life.
No, darling, they're 21.
Okay,
not...
righto. Yeah, good point. That was...
Green Day
they
are like
were-
60 now.
Yep. Yeah. Okay, they were our graduations.
Yeah.
Good point.
So you're
And-
talking about graduations in your day, like meaning now.
No, look, I'm
now?
just going to leave it at that. No, I'm going to leave it at that. It could be in your day. It could be in my day. Let's just hang tight. 7 more days till we get to hear this song.
Is it Don't Speak? I know what you want.
No
Oh,
doubt.
but no doubt. That's a good track.
But like Don't Speak as in just
Shut
like,
up.
Yeah.
Well, I thought I was onto it with I hope you had the time of your life. So no, it's not that. Okay.
That sounds like a funeral song.
Well, people always use it to wrap something up.
Oh,
like at
I
the
see,
finishing
right.
of your high school period or...
I don't know.
It's a very fitting song. I'll give you that.
But it's not it.
Okay. All right. Well, can't wait.
Is it Stacey's mum?
Woohoo! No.
Again, 2.0. I think I've killed that song.
Oh, man.
Oh, I
You've
can't
reinvigorated
wait.
it for me.
I can't wait. We need to go really big on next week. Yeah.
So if you loved Horse Lips on a Penis, and I got a phone call the other day from someone who I didn't know listened to my podcast. Our
Who
podcast.
was that?
Just a mate from a long time ago who used to race go-karts together. And he just said, mate, I've just come across this episode with Horse Lips on a Penis. He goes, I nearly crashed my car while I was driving. It was that funny. He goes, I was in tears of laughter. So if it did that for you, guess what? Round 2, baby.
Yeah. Next
Round
week is
2.
Pull over your
Gonna
car
be
and listen
big.
to it.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Do not operate heavy machinery when listen to this belter from George. Yes. Thanks for listening
Okay.
this week.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Say hi to
Take care.
your dad and Gus. Are they still there?
I shall do. No, I made sure they left during the recording of this podcast because I don't need my dad hearing half the things we talk about.
Well, they'll be listening to the episode on the way back home.
I will delete it off their phone.
Classic.
I'm going to do some cabbing.
Cabby.
Yeah.
What's that?
It's where I take a bit of
Oh, no.
scent
Stop.
from down around the cock region and then just pop it on my neck. So I'll let you know how it goes next week.
I've smelled
Cabbing.
that in your undies, and that's not pleasant.
Start a trend.
Bye.
Wow, is that the smell of ball cheese?
Oh, God. Bye. Sign
Is that,
off.
is that ball
That's it.
cheese by Calvin
Stop.
Klein? Can I get that at
Is
Maya?
that dick cheese by GD?
That's so wrong. Bye. It's all
Is that
true.
Estee Laurent dick cheese? It's beautiful.
Shh, my parents are out there minding our
They
children.
actually are at the back.
I can hear them at the door. They're wondering what's going on in there.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
It's All True, the podcast with Grant and Chezzi George.
Bye